Greenberg, and this is
Andy Greenberg.
And today I'll be leading the show with what I hope will be a spicy one, because it's it's not a cooking show where we're going to cook, but we're going to learn all about cooking, and we're going to learn about food, and we're going to have some fun. I bet food is your favorite. Food is my favorite. Andy, is your food your favorite?
It's my favorite also. And by the way, I'm playing the straight man, so just a notice, like we always say, I have no idea what she's going to be talking about. Like, she never knew what I was going to be talking about.
But here's the thing. He might not even know what he's talking about, because although he loves food, it doesn't mean he knows about food.
That is correct. I love food, and particularly her cooking. There is no comparison whatsoever.
Well, thank you very much. Anyway, let's get started. So what do you think a chef is, Andy?
Oh, I know.
What is it?
I know. A chef is someone who designs recipes. They don't copy anybody else's recipes like a cook, but they're the ones that say, "Ooh, let's use this flavoring, let's use this gravy, let's decide whether we should boil it or fry it or whatever we do."
Okay,
it is that.
What? Go ahead.
I'm not finished.
Okay.
It is like an author of a book. They have a story. They develop the storyline. And the chef also is the one that's responsible for the placement of the food on the plate, also known as the presentation. So there, that's a chef.
Well, let me take it a step further, as you love to say. A chef is somebody that is creative. It's somebody that has a career in food. But a chef is also, a long time ago, started out to be a cook. And he was paid to make food. He also knows about the different utensils. He knows what knife to use. He knows what type of food. He knows what flavors go with each other. He knows how to handle the kitchen equipment. And he has knife skills and so on and so forth. Okay.
So does that mean any cook can be turned into a chef?
That's absolutely right.
So any sandwich cook, because you know what? Well, in my younger days on my father's delicatessen and luncheonette, I was a fast order cook. Does that mean I can become a chef?
No, that means you have to go jump through the hoops like everyone else. In a position, you have to rise, you have to make yourself known, you have to create food, and keep rising above the ladder in the different restaurants. But you start out as a cook.
So it's like an apprentice.
Kind of.
It's like a management training program. You can't be president unless you go through the management training program or have the education.
Okay, but wait a minute. That is not quite true of chefs and cooks. You do not have to go to culinary school to be a chef. Culinary school is very expensive. You can get experience working for people and to become a chef. And if you learn on the job, it's even better. And if you learn from the people who are good at it, it's even better.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you, and here's why.
Why?
Because very simple. When we first got married over 51 years ago, Carol was a cook. But lately, she's turned into a chef.
Well, thank you so much.
Because she designs her own recipes, which are absolutely out of this world, and gives a new meaning to the expression home-style cooking.
Okay.
No good?
Yeah, that's good. But
okay.
You know, when you think of like chef, you also think of gourmet and
I
elegant.
think of gourmet.
Okay, that's
oh
pretty
my
good.
God, gourmet and elegant, ladies and gentlemen, you have no idea. But continue.
Okay, so here's a question: does the head chef cook?
Does the head chef
If you're in a
cook?
fine restaurant and there's a head chef, there's a sous, what they call an apprentice, there's people below him. Does the head chef cook?
I'm going to say no, because the president of a corporation doesn't do anything that the folks underneath do. So therefore, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that the chef is the one who's in charge of the kitchen, and the buck starts with him.
You are exactly right. You are exactly right. He's at the top of the kitchen, and their role is primarily managerial, okay? They tend to manage the kitchen and multiple outlets, and they're not usually directly responsible for cooking. They may plan the menu, they may tell people what to do, but you're exactly correct. You know, you might be earning some stars here. This is really, really cool.
So far, so good. Now, so Michelin stars?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But yes, Michelin stars, and we'll come to that soon.
Okay.
Okay, can you name any famous female chefs?
Oh, yes. Martha Stewart.
What? Martha Stewart. I do not consider her a chef.
Okay.
Martha is a...
Why not?
sort of a Jill of all trades. She's in gardening because she did develop breast
Au
fatigue. but
contraire. You
she-
trying to tell me Martha Stewart does not have any?
No, I'm not
well,
going to keep her.
you didn't let me finish my sentence. She has not developed any Martha Stewart cookbooks with her own original recipes?
I don't know. I don't. That's something I have
I'm
to.
pretty sure she does. All right,
And
fine.
If she did, it's certainly
Okay,
not popular.
Let me try another one. Rachel Ray
Yes.
Ah.
Where do you see Rachel Ray?
on TV.
On TV. She's the host of her own show. She's probably the world's most famous chef. And I'll tell you a little bit about her.
Okay, go ahead, but I don't think she's the world's most famous chef.
She's she's been around a long time, and as a TV personality, she's probably one of the highest ones.
Did she have a movie made of her?
Not yet.
Did another female chef have a movie made of her?
Yes, but that was a long, long time ago, and we'll get to that too.
And are people still using her recipes from a long, long time ago?
Somewhat. I mean, her cookbook is always in existence, but somewhat. We've really, really evolved with the cooking and recipes and
Continue.
all that. I will. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about Rachel Ray. Rachel Ray is
You can tell them too.
Rachel Ray is a down-to-earth chef. When Rachel Ray cooked in her kitchen, she is cooking like you would be cooking. Sometimes she just forgets where things are, and she's talking to you as she's cooking, and it's always great. She's gonna add this, she's gonna add that. She's making a mess. But although she subscribed to the most famous phrase there is in cooking, and do you know what that is?
Yes.
What is it?
It's delicious.
No, that's not the most famous phrase in cooking. The most famous phrase is mise en place. Meaning, it's a French word, it's everything in its place. So when you start cooking, you don't want to say, oh my gosh, I forgot something. You run to the cabinet and get it. Oh my gosh, where's my knife? You get everything, all your ingredients together, you lay them out. So if you're following a recipe, you have everything on hand. So Rachel Ray is a connoisseur of that, but she leads you and she makes stuff, and it's just great. She has a great personality. So when you're watching someone, you feel like you're in the kitchen and she's teaching you how to cook.
Wow, I have a question. Is she Jewish?
Rachel Ray? I don't know.
I haven't checked it because we haven't
don't
prepared
know.
for this, but I don't know. I
don't think so.
You don't think so?
No,
Okay.
I'm pretty
All
sure
right.
she's not.
Okay.
Okay, Diana De Laurentiis is an Italian chef, and if she
I'm
cooking...
sorry, Diana, who?
Diana De Laurentiis.
Okay, all right. Oh, the one that made the car? The
No,
Laurentis.
no,
that was somebody.
she didn't make it
DeLorean.
right.
That was
No,
DeLorean.
no.
Okay, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. The Laurentis clothing, or maybe just chef?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Anyway, she has her. When you see her TV show, everything is pristine. There is nothing cluttered on the counter. There's a bowl of lemon. Everything is very sterile. She cooks wonderful stuff, and she is this thin. So I'm not sure she's eating any of her stuff. Because when you're a chef, you're tasting to see if it's good. I don't know how she keeps that figure, but it's this thing. I've watched her once in a while. I'm not a big fan of hers, but she's a wonderful chef, and kudos to her. Okay, then there is some. Let's see if we can name some other famous. What is a famous male chef?
Oh, yeah, I know this one. It's that guy from Japan who did that original cooking show with the chef and the chop him up and all. I know the guy. Oh my!
I wasn't even going
Oh
there.
yeah, he was one of
no.
the first original cooking shows on TV.
What
and
is
when
it?
we lived in Omaha, everybody loved that guy, especially Michael Parso. They all loved that guy.
Oh, you're talking about the Iron Chef.
Iron Chef, yes.
Okay, I
yes.
wasn't even going that. That was
Yes.
a competition of different things. But I'm thinking of someone else, and he could be very snippety and order people around, and he's pretty famous today. He's one of the top, highest famous
I know.
men. Who is it?
Michelin.
No, Michelin is the name of the stars. Who is the
Well,
guy?
they didn't name it after anybody?
He has restaurants in Vegas. He is so famous.
I know. The guy, he's got restaurants at the airport too. Not only in Vegas. He's got that German sounding name. Oh, I'm very upset with
I don't
myself.
think he
You
has
know,
that
you
German
know who I
sounding
mean.
name.
You know who
I'm
I
gonna
mean.
put you out of your misery.
You know who I mean.
No.
Bond. Oh my
No,
God.
that's not who I'm talking about.
You know who I mean. Anyway, go ahead.
How about Gordon Ramsay?
Oh yeah, the guy from England.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he is a great. He's been on a million TV shows. He is a great chef. His recipes are very simple. But have you ever seen a TV show with him? there were some crazy ones. He screamed at people. He argued with them, but he is a great chef. His taste profile is excellent.
But there was that other guy.
What guy?
Oh my, you know who I mean. He's in all the places. He got more restaurants than Gordon Ramsay has utensils.
I'm sorry.
Oh, oh my God. Wolfgang Puck. That's the guy. Wolfgang Puck. Yes.
Okay, Wolfgang Puck. Every time I think of Wolfgang Puck, I think of a pizza, and I don't know why. I'm not a big fan of Wolfgang Puck.
But
he may have a lot of restaurants. I don't know if they're still around.
And who's that guy that's got all the cooking utensils named after him? Nat Gordon. You got some of this guy's stuff.
Cooking utensils?
Yeah. We go to the store. Oh, yeah, he's very famous. He's got all these cooking utensils named after him. I can't remember the guy's name. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so there's another guy there, and he is someone that has a TV show too. But actually, let's get back to Gordon Ramsay, because Gordon Ramsay is the #1 male chef in the world.
Who said?
The internet said. The internet said. The internet said. The internet said that he was hot-headed, which we've seen on TV. The internet said his empire stands at a whopping $190 million. And with his restaurant, it's only a matter of time before he becomes a billion-dollar chef.
I didn't know that.
Well, now you do.
Whoa.
But before he became famous, he worked under some famous chefs, and he has a restaurant, of course, named after himself, Restaurant Gordon Ramsay, and he was awarded 3 Michelin stars in 2001. So he's an actual cook. He's also a television personality. He's a chef, he's a cook, he's a television personality.
That's great.
That is great. Okay.
Have you ever eaten at any of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants? I haven't. I don't even know where they are.
Well, there is one in Vegas, and there's many all around. I don't know any. I'm not sure if he still lived in England either. But
okay, no, I'm sure he did.
I would love to go. You know, my friend called me up and said, "Do you want to meet in Las Vegas? I'm dying to go to Gordon Ramsay and have a steak," because he does that very, very well.
Wow. I have to look up after this if there are any Gordon Ramsay restaurants in Florida, and I'll take you there.
That would be nice.
I'll take you there.
We could go.
I'll keep everybody posted.
Okay. So, we were talking about the Michelin stars.
Right.
Do you know what they are?
It's like a tire, because there's a Michelin tire, and it's the treads, and I don't know.
The Michelin star is the ultimate hallmark of culinary excellence. So sometimes when you go to a restaurant and outside there, well, it's not a restaurant. It's a fine restaurant. It says, they might have a plaque that says they've been awarded 1, 2, 3 stars. Michelin stars are awarded to restaurants judged to be a particularly high standard. Eateries that make the grade can be awarded 1, 2, or 3 stars. And it's coveted from chefs around the world. They try to compete every year. And the star system was first introduced, guess in what year?
Let me see, 1952.
How about 1926?
Oh, wow.
That really goes a long way, with a single star denoting a very good restaurant. The second and third stars were added in 1933, with 2 stars meaning excellent cooking that's worth your visit. And then the third star was added in 1933, and 3 stars, what do you think that means?
3 stars is better than 2, less than 4.
That's correct. The 3 stars mean exceptional cuisine that is worth a special journey. The Michelin Guide has been published annually since 1900 and was originally intended to help drivers find mechanic hotels and, of course, good restaurants on their travel.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is that like the AAA book? Remember years ago, AAA, they always ranked the hotels, and they still do in some cases, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you'd be traveling way back when, remember, you got the AAA book or the trip kit, and it would tell you the ranking of the particular hotels, and they would have to earn that. Is that about the same thing?
Yes, it is. The rating system. But there is one guy that holds the most Michelin stars in all the world.
Give me 3 choices.
I can't give you 3 choices, but I'm going to tell you his name. His name is Joe Robuchon, and he is classified as the top 10 chefs, even though...
Wow.
They would also classify chefs in the fact that they people who relate to them, how many times you've been on TV, how well you're known, and even though this guy may have a thing, I haven't really heard of him, but, it doesn't mean he isn't good. So, Michelin stars are not based on customer reviews.
No.
No.
What are they based? I didn't know. What are they based on? Because the hotels are
undercover inspection by anonymous food experts known as the Michelin inspectors. They remain anonymous to avoid being given preferential treatment. So if somebody can come in your restaurant, sit down, order a meal, and be judging you, and you have no idea who this person is. What do you think of that?
I think that makes a lot of sense. You know what they call that in retail? The secret shopper.
You're right, they do that. They are not allowed to speak to the press, but they generally thought that most will at least have some experience in the restaurant business. Guess what? Anyone hoping to become a Michelin inspector must be passionate and knowledgeable about food with good attention to detail and the ability to blend in with the ordinary customers.
So would I qualify?
Maybe 75%. Maybe 75%. Okay. So here's the judging criteria. It focuses on the quality of the ingredient, the cooking techniques, and most importantly, what?
The taste.
The taste.
I got that.
But Michelin stars are awarded solely on the standard of cuisine. So inspectors will not consider things like the restaurant decor, the ambiance, and or what the surroundings are. And they're rated from 1 to 5 using a cross fork and spoon symbol.
Wow.
So restaurants are not told when this is going to take place, and the inspector may return around 3 to 6 times.
Wow. So it's got to be consistent. It just can't
be. It's got to be consistent.
It can't be a one-hit wonder.
Then they have to come to a joint decision between other people whether to award the stars. And so they're awarded to restaurants, not individual chefs.
So only because I don't know, and I don't know if you have the answer or not, but let's assume for a moment that we had a somebody that goes in and qualifies to be a Michelin tester. Okay. They go in and they give it, I'm just going to make it up, a 3. When other people come back, are they other Michelin testers or the same one? What do you think?
I think that they go. No, the inspector, it goes back 3 to 6 times. It's the same one, and they report back to their fellow inspectors, and then they make a judgment based on what the original inspector said.
Okay.
So it's the same one because
Right.
it would be too crazy for many different people to go. Okay.
Excuse me for 1 second while she continues.
Okay. So we talked about the fact that the most Michelin stars are belong to the late Joe Robuchon, who once held an impressive 32 Michelin stars in total. Most restaurants, however, will not meet Michelin standards, and the majority of restaurants inspected are awarded 0 stars.
Yikes.
So those people that make the grade are re-inspected frequently. And Gordon Ramsay was even reported reduced to tears when his New York restaurant was stripped of his stars, saying it was like losing a girlfriend.
Ooh, so let me ask you the question: is it worth spending that much money on one meal? Because I have a philosophy. When we go out to eat, sometimes the bill is $50-$60, and okay, fine, I'll pay the $50-$60. But then I'll always,
Could be more.
Could be more, but then I'll always ask the question. I never pay $50 for a shirt. Why am I paying $50 for a meal?
Because it's an experience, and it's because we're all, whether we want to admit it or not, food is a major part of our lives, and food just brings different kinds of emotions. So sometimes you say, oh my God, it's the best. Or it's something you wouldn't make at home, so you treat yourself to it.
So let me ask you this question, a very personal one. If I found a restaurant that was Michelin 3, and I knew that even without wine or anything else, the bill would run $300, which I'm assuming that's what the cost would be, what would you say? Would you say, let's do it?
I would say, let's save up and have an experience.
Wow, interesting.
I would say that.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on. So we know a little bit about Michelin stars. Who started cooking shows?
Who started cooking shows? Okay, Jack LaLanne started exercising shows. This one is going to come to. It's that lady, that French lady I was telling you about, who made the movie.
I know the French lady. I'm going to get to the French. The French lady's name is Julia Child.
That's the one.
Okay.
She was the one that started. Am I right?
No.
No.
One of the first television cooking shows, called Cook's Night Out, aired on the BBC channel in January 1937. Marcel Boulestine, who became famous in the English-speaking world for the cookery books on French cuisine, demonstrated the preparation of an omelette as part of the 15-minute program. Now, you would think, but it's interesting because there are a lot of ways to make an omelette, and there are a lot of ways to make a perfect omelette.
I know. I've seen the infomercials. You see, it all depends upon the pan. If you've got the right pan that you bought from the infomercials, it'll work. Now, in addition to the pan, you have to have the right spatula, because you've seen those TV advertisements where if you have a bad spatula, what happens to the fried egg? See, I'm learning.
Yes, but let's go back. In order to have those things are correct. You also have to have the proper temperature, the proper seasoning, and know when to finish your omelet.
Aha. So let me ask you this question. You and I always have a debate about scrambled eggs. I like mine soft. You like yours a little on the harder side.
Right. So, but what do? I take yours out soft, and then I give it to you, and I cook mine a little bit more.
So I got to go back to these Michelin people. What happens if
I don't know, but the Michelin
really
people
serious.
aren't doing scrambled eggs.
I know, but I'm just trying to make that point.
I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. What was the name? The first cooking show was called, believe it or not, I Love to Eat. It was a live television series on NBC that aired from August 30th, 1946 to May 18th, 1947, and was a cooking show hosted by author James Beard. You've heard him.
I remember. I heard of that guy. Yes, that's a name I couldn't think of.
Right,
yes,
James Beard. You know him.
Yes.
So, but the earliest celebrity chef on TV was somebody from the UK called Fanny Craddock. She had a cooking show from the 1950s to the 1970s. Then, of course, we have the one you've been waiting for.
Julia Child.
Julia Caroline Child, right? Born August 15th, 1912. She was an American cooking teacher, author, and television personality. She's recognized for bringing French cuisine to the American public with her debut, Cooking, Mastering the Art of French Cooking. So that brings me to my favorite movie.
The Julia Child's movie.
No, that's what's it called.
I don't remember.
It's very simple.
Is that the name of it? It's very simple?
No, Julia and Julia.
Why do they call them twice, Julia and Julia?
Because the person that went through her cookbook and cooked something every day was Julia, and it's a true story.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But Julia Child never met Julia Powell. As a matter of fact, she didn't even like her.
Ooh.
And she didn't even like her, and we don't know. But anybody that loves cooking and is serious about it, that she revolutionized the way that Americans cook. She accomplished many things in her life, and she had her own cooking show, The French Chef, on PBS.
I want to stop you for a moment because you're talking about books. I don't know if you know this, but I know something. Maybe I'd get a star for it. Okay. I don't know. I'd like to have a star. And that is as follows, that recipe books are the second largest selling of category books in the world.
I believe it.
And you know what the first one is?
What? Sex?
No.
No, what?
No.
What?
The Bible.
The Bible?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the Bible is number one. Recipe books are number two in the world for categories of books. Just to let you know.
Okay. So, actually, they're making a new movie about Julia Child. It's going to air on HBO Max, and I think it's going to have it's like a TV show. It's going to have 8 episodes, and David Hyde Pierce from
yes, from
not Cheers.
No,
the other one.
The other one. Yeah, Fraser.
We'll play her husband.
Fraser.
Right, Fraser. We'll play her husband.
So, is it fair to say that this movie right now is on the back burner?
It's fair to say this movie's on the back burner. All right. So now we're going to come to another chef, and you've seen him. His name is Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri.
What TV show does he have?
The diner. He goes around to diners and sandwich shops.
And
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, if you haven't watched any of these shows, I watch them occasionally. They're a lot of fun, and I hope she will tell you about the restaurant show she was on.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, but I will. Okay.
Hold on. You can't leave until you find out.
I'm not gonna.
Not yet.
Right.
No,
So,
no.
technically, Guy Fieri is not a chef by technical definition, but he has a lot of experience in the kitchen. In fact, he grew up cooking because his father was instrumental in the development in cooking. But so you can call him a chef or a cook. He has a restaurant in New York Times. He has a book. He's one of the world's most recognizable and influential TV celebrities. Sure. He received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is a rare feat for a chef. Okay.
Oh, I like that. A rare feat.
Yes,
rare
feat. Guess what food Guy Fieri hates?
Oh boy, I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say potato pierogi.
I'm gonna tell you that it was something we just discussed recently.
French fries?
Recently, like a few minutes ago.
Oh, I mean in this session?
Yes.
Oh no, scrambled eggs.
What?
Scrambled eggs.
He hates eggs.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Wow.
He's been inducted into the Barbecue Hall of Fame, and he has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which we told you. He thought about doing a kid cooking show before it was even popular, so he never got around to it.
Gordon Ramsay does that.
Yeah. But Guy Fieri thought about it. Okay. So now here are some of the places he's been to. And so he's been to many restaurants in a place where we lived before in Omaha, Nebraska. He went to Amato's, and we went there.
Yep.
Okay. He went to something called Big Mama's in Omaha.
We know of it.
He went to Brewburger in Omaha.
Never heard of it.
And he went to California Taco in Omaha.
Never heard of it.
Okay. He went to Joe Tetz's Place in Omaha.
Yes.
And now he's been to a couple of places in Palm Beach. Where has he been?
I know the answer.
What is it?
Flakowitz.
Yes. He went to Flakowitz because he raved about the matzo balls in the matzo ball soup. Okay? And he went to a couple of different places.
I think he's been to a diner here too, not even Flakowitz, but I'm trying to remember the name of it. But anyway, go ahead.
No, that was somebody else.
Okay.
That was somebody else. Anyway, so I'm going to move on to another chef, which I recently discovered, and I did not know much about her. She's a Jewish chef, and her name is Susie Fishbein. And I found out about her when we were in the middle of the pandemic because they were hosting a bunch of Zoom shows, and they had for Israel, they were running a benefit for Israel's food drive, and they had 3 popular chefs, and she was one of them. And so you signed up to do this. This one happened to be free. You signed up to do this, and they emailed you the recipes, so you could actually cook along with them, or you could just have the recipes. And I discovered that she was a terrific cook because her recipes were very gourmetish, very Hamish, very tasteful, and wonderful, and most importantly, they were kosher because we keep a kosher home. And so it was wonderful because I didn't have to substitute any ingredients. And slowly I became really fascinated, and I ended up with 5 or 6 of her cookbooks. And she laid everything out very well. Anyway, here's the plug. Thanks, Susie Fishbein, for all you do.
Hey, I got to say that too. Because as a result of Susie Fishbein, she went out and I think got 5 Susie Fishbein cookbooks.
I just said that.
I know, but
yes.
but you got some other stuff too, if I remember right. But magazines, you started getting kosher magazines maybe before her, and she has taken the art of making ground beef into some of the most gourmet dishes that I've ever had in my life. And to be very open with you, you all know that between us two, we kind of lost some weight intentionally during the pandemic. But now with all this food and everything else she's doing, you know what happens is starting to come up.
All right, we're going to move on. Do you know what a hack is?
A hack, yes. A hack is when you see something and then you adopt it to something else.
Okay. That could be a translation, but a hack is something that makes things easier or something that will be helpful.
That could be anything.
Okay, that could be anything. Okay, so I'm going to throw out a couple of hacks. So what do you think, in order, sometimes people make cookies and they don't want them to get hard in the next couple of days. What would you do to keep the cookies soft?
Oh, simple, eat them.
What?
Simple, eat them.
Well, suppose you can't eat them all at one time.
What would I do to keep them in a warm weather?
What?
Keep them in a warm temperature.
No. How about we do this? We're adding a slice of store-bought white bread to an airtight container.
Huh?
Isn't that crazy? That's a hack, and that keeps something about the bread and the moisture and everything will keep your
I'm
cookies
sorry.
cooked.
Do what now?
Add a slice of white bread,
to what?
To the container of cookies.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
Alright, so you know what? I'm in the mood to make French fries, but I don't feel like taking my knife out and chopping them. What the heck I could do? What's a utensil I could use?
Oh, I know. And the Vegomatic slicer that we saw on TV many years ago. You take the potato, you go like that,
No.
and it makes. Yes.
How
they
about
showed
the
it on
apple
TV.
slicer?
Huh?
Peel the potato and put the apple slicer down, and you've got these French fry wedges. Isn't that a great hack?
Ooh.
That's a great hack. Okay.
Ooh.
So you know what?
Ah.
It's summertime. You might be growing some things, or the produce is plentiful, and you go to the supermarket. It's inexpensive, and you want to make soup, or much later on. But so you buy the celery, the onion, the carrot. You chop them all up, and you freeze them. So that when the wintertime, it's called a miracle. You take out that and you throw it in your soup, and you have soup.
Wow.
How about that?
So the soup I've been eating is 6 months old?
The soup? No, it's just the frozen. Looks like having frozen vegetables.
Oh, wow.
Here's one you're gonna know.
Okay, what's that?
How do you prevent bowls or anything or cutting board from slipping?
You put a towel underneath.
Or
A wet paper towel.
very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, very good. Okay, so sometimes when you have tomato sauce, it's very acidy. So what do you do to reduce the acidity?
In tomato sauce?
Yes.
Add sugar.
No. How about we're gonna add some baking soda?
Never thought of that.
I know. All right. So here's one that I didn't know, and I may try. For extra smooth scrambled eggs, add sour cream.
I've had that before.
Have you? Did you like it? It'll be creamy for a long time.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Can we have it tomorrow morning?
I don't have any sour cream.
Okay, after this, let's go to Publix or any other supermarket. This program is not being endorsed by Publix, nor was that a paid or promotional announcement.
So here we go. So we talked about mise en place, things to keep calm in the kitchen. Prep all your ingredients before you start cooking. Now you're not scrambling to chop the garlic, etc., etc. And then if you have an air fryer, which I just got recently, which I absolutely love, in order to keep the food from sticking, you spray the inside with the with oil.
With
A
Pam?
coating of oil.
Pam? Was that the name of the thing?
Pam or
Yeah.
something like that. Okay.
See, yeah, I bet
So
you,
here's a
I bet
good
you
one.
she didn't realize how much I knew about this.
Here's a good one.
Yeah.
How do you keep if you're on the road and you want to keep your ice cream from melting? You won't believe this. What do you think you can use to keep your ice cream from melting? You won't believe it.
Oh, then give me some choices.
I am not giving you some.
I have no idea.
It's something that you use for packaging.
Something you use bubble wrap.
Yes. Bubble wrap. Yep. Isn't that amazing?
I get a point for that.
1 point for Andy. 1 point for Andy
I
in the
didn't know
bubble
that.
wrap.
So really, seriously,
Right.
you take bubble wrap and
Yeah,
do what?
and wrap it around the ice cream container to keep it cold.
Wow.
Okay, but here's one that we're going to use very soon. Maybe even use it tomorrow, and we haven't used it before. Now, we bought a juicer because we're making our own orange juice.
Ooh.
And it's delicious. And what do you do to get a little bit more juice out of it?
What do I do? I roll the oranges.
Okay, but here's one step further that I just found out. Not only should we be rolling in that, we should be microwaving something for like 7 to 10 seconds in the microwave, and then rolling it to get even more juice out of it.
We take the orange.
The whole orange,
Yeah.
and microwave it for 7 seconds, then roll it.
That reminds me, unless you did something while I was doing something, we don't have any orange juice for tomorrow morning.
No, we don't. We'll have to make some. All right. We'll have to make
Are
some.
we going to microwave it?
We're going to try. We'll see. The first one. Okay. So.
I have an idea. Let's take one orange,
And
not
try it.
microwave it, and then see another orange, and then see
We'll
what
try
happens.
it. All right. So. Now we're moving on to some gadgets and everything, because they always invent some smart gadgets and things that are helpful. Of course, you could actually have too many gadgets, but here are some of them. They actually have a high-speed smart toaster. They have an Instant Pot, which I didn't care for. I gave it to my neighbor because to me, people love it. It saves time and everything. You throw everything in there, but that's not how I like to cook. But here's another one that's high on the list, which we happen to have, and that's a voice-controlled faucet. I say, Alexa, tell Moen to give me 1 1/4 cup of water, And she does.
And you can also tell it what degree of temperature you want that
Yes,
water.
that's correct.
Hot or cold.
Right.
Yes.
So there's lots and lots, and there's something called an automatic panter, but you know what? I don't need an automatic panter. That's the art of cooking. I want to stir my own thing.
I have a question. The chefs that you talked about earlier.
I don't think they use half of this stuff.
Okay.
I don't think they use half of that stuff. So fans of cooking shows fall into two categories. People who want to learn and enjoy being entertained, and those who care about everything but the how-to element. And I love cooking shows. I find it fascinating. I like when they talk and et cetera, et cetera. I also like fiction books that have a plot with recipes attached to it. And they're far and few between, but they do make them. I can read an ingredient and have a 98% success ratio, knowing whether it's going to taste good. But I like to tweak and add my own concoctions and ingredients to recipe, making it my own.
So, Carol, if there is a book that features a dark chocolate cake, would that mean it's a dark book?
No, it doesn't mean it's a dark book.
So, no, very seriously, how do you make the I'm being serious. How do you make the relationship between what the recipe is and the theme of the book?
They might be talking about somebody went into a coffee shop and ordered a raspberry tart, and maybe in the next page they'll give you a recipe for raspberry tart.
Oh,
that.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
I've never seen you read it.
I have a couple that I've saved that I have a hard time getting rid of.
Wow, see what I learned? I didn't know all
Yeah,
this stuff.
how about it?
Wow.
All right, so now we're going to move on to food movies. I love food movies. Oh, do I love food movies. But here's one. One was 1987 called Babette's Feast. And it's very heavy on cooking, but very light on substance. And, I'm sorry, that's something else. That's Babette's Feast. We'll go to Julie and Julia. And I told you about that. So I don't know if you remember Amy Adams and Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep was the one that played Julia Child. And it was a wonderful movie because it fluctuated between Julia Child, the real chef,
wow,
and Julia, the one that was following in her cookbook. And,
wow.
And it was she had to cook something different every day for 365 days.
I do want to pause for a moment. I just want to ask you guys: are you thrilled with all the information that we're feeding you?
All right. Then there's another movie called Eat, Drink, Man and Woman.
Ooh.
That sounds crazy. Okay. It talked about the life of a widower and his three married daughters, and they get together for Sunday brunch, and everything, of course, focuses on food. Of course, that's why I'm talking about a food movie.
I'm going to pause for a moment. As long as you're talking about food movies, are you going to be talking? You already talked about TV with cooking, right?
Yes.
So watch this. Carol, what is your most famous book having to do with recipes? The one that you think of more than anything else?
I can't name any particular.
Yeah, you can.
What is it?
You ready?
Yes.
To Serve Man.
Oh my goodness, that's the plot from the Twilight Zone, but that's not really a cookbook. All right.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, the cookbook. So the cookbook. Oh, but
you have to watch that. You have to watch that episode if you already have it. I'm not gonna. She'll continue in a moment, but you got to do that. Okay, go ahead.
So some other movies. One is called Soul Food. One is called Waitress, and one is called Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Now I got Andy hooked on vegetarian sushi or salmon or tuna. And do you love it?
I love it. To me, it's for whatever reason I resisted it, but yep, she took me down the road, and I rolled right with it, and I really enjoy it. So
the Jiro Dreams of Sushi is a documentary based on a real restaurant in Tokyo that earned 3 Michelin stars, and they're saying that if you ever go to Tokyo, you should hunt down this restaurant and try it.
Excuse me.
We're going to Tokyo.
We're going to Tokyo.
I can't pronounce the restaurant. It's called Tsukiyabashi.
Yeah, we're going in whenever we're going, but we're going to Tokyo. Wow, you got something to do.
All right, then there's another movie called...
Whoa. So now we're going to put the whole thing to test. When we go out to sushi restaurants here, we go to happy hour, and we don't pay a whole lot of money. Can you imagine how much one roll of sushi will cost at this place? Yes. And are we going to do it?
We might.
Or should we check the prices first?
All right, I'm moving on. There was another movie called Big Night, which was with Tony Shalhoub and Stanley Tucci. And they were two brothers, and they're trying to save their Italian restaurant. So they invite a singer there, and the whole premise of the movie is they're fixing all these dishes and everything, and they're lavishing their attention on their food and all that. It doesn't work out from them, but it's a great movie. My next favorite movie is called Chef.
Oh,
Do you know that one?
I do have a question.
What?
When did you see all these movies? I don't
I
remember.
saw some of these. I may not have seen
I
them
don't
with
remember.
you.
We've been together for
Yes,
50.
but you don't watch. We saw Chef together. We saw Big Night together. It doesn't ring a bell because you're not as focused on food as I am. I love food movies. Okay. Do you remember Chef? With with Sofia Vergara, and he's making Cuban sandwiches.
No.
And they're traveling in the food truck.
No.
Okay, fine. Okay, here's one that I did see without you. You know what the name of it is called?
No.
Butter. It was a comedy about a comedy and a romance, and it was an excellent movie, a funny movie about butter. Here's one you know.
What's that?
Chocolat.
Oh, that was a great movie.
We've seen it many times.
That was a movie about chocolate cooking.
Right.
Oh, you got it. If you get a chance, watch that. Watch all the movie she's talking about. But you got to watch Chocolat. Oh, what a great movie that is. My gosh.
That one.
Fantastic.
Here's another movie that was a documentary that we saw called The Founder.
The Founder.
McDonald's?
Oh, yeah, the one about Ray Kroc, how he got started.
Yes.
Yeah. You deserve a break today. Yeah, that's the guy. Whoa.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was another really good movie. There's a lot of things that were talked about in that movie which are just strange and unbelievable. So let me ask you this question. And now that you're a chef, when you go to the supermarket and you shop, okay, if you don't have a recipe in mind, would you pick up certain items in the store to create?
I would look and say, "Oh, I'm going to make." Absolutely. I mean, matter of fact, we just went shopping recently, and the reason I bought baby broccoli because I don't have a recipe in mind, but I think I'm going to throw some stir-fried vegetables together and figure out what I'm going to do. So yeah, you can base a recipe on the ingredients. Same thing about opening your pantry and saying, I think I want to use this, that. What can I make out of it?
So I have an idea. Seriously speaking, you're a great cook, okay? How about we predict the future and take advantage of it? So what am I talking about? I don't think anybody yet has written a book, we can look at it, that says cooking in the next pandemic.
Oh, please. We don't want to say, we don't want a next pandemic.
I know we don't. But
we could say cooking in the future, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to have a book called
No.
Cooking in the Next Pandemic.
I'll tell you why. Don't say no right away. I'll tell you why. Because we were home, as you know, we were home for just about the entire year. We did not eat out. And I got to tell you, you take 365 days times 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Wow.
That's like over 900 and some odd meals, okay?
Oh, wow.
You know how many of your meals were the same?
Not many.
Not many.
And I have to tell you, I'll tell you a little bit. I make all my own soups. I make my own tomato soup from fresh tomatoes. I make my own cauliflower soup. I make my own black bean soup. I make my own, you name it, I made it. Carrot soup. We had every kind of soup there was.
So
we happen to like soup.
Is there what's the relationship between you being an artist and a magnificent cook? A great artist, by the way, and magnificent cook. Is there a relationship? Is it creativeness?
Color, it's creativity, color, senses, smell, taste. Yeah, I think so.
And you know what? Way back when we were younger, she used to can her own peaches.
Oh, yes. We lived in California. Yes. We used to can peaches and plums and all that. Oh, wow. Yeah.
So now would you consider, I don't know the answer, would you consider cooking a hobby or a skill?
For me, it's a skill. It's not a hobby for me.
Okay.
It's a skill.
All right, and maybe to other people, it's a passion.
It's a passion.
Sometimes isn't a passion a hobby?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, when did you first... No, you know what the real truth is? Now that I start thinking about it, she's bringing back memories. When we were dating, way back when we were 16 years old, okay? She used to cook dinner for me when we were 16 years old. Remember that? Remember what you cooked?
Brisket?
Yes.
Brisket.
She would invite me up to the apartment at 16. and make the most delicious, I'm telling you, savory, is that the right word? Savory, soft, tender brisket. It was just unbelievable. And then I would come home and my mother would say, hey, you know what? We haven't had brisket in a while. Should I make some? How could I tell my mother no? But I could never compare my mother's briskets to her brisket, which, by the way, is still superb
Thank you.
and excellent.
Thank you.
And what she does to roast beef, you made roast beef about 2, 3, maybe about a month and a half ago. I don't know what you did to it. I don't know what seasoning you added to it. I'll never understand it, but it was fantastic. So, what's your favorite dish? I know you can't answer, but what's your favorite dish? So I'm going to ask you. What's your favorite dish to make?
You know what? My favorite dish is something I'm not eating anymore, believe it or not. My favorite dish is pasta. I have always loved pasta, but I moved on. I'm not eating much of it anymore. You know what? I happen to like chicken. I think that chicken is a versatile protein that you can do so much with it. I actually bought a spice that I'm dying to try. It's a mole. It's a Mexican spice that actually is chocolate. So I'm going to use this spice and make a mole chicken chocolate dish.
So when we were younger, okay, she used to make chicken, and I used to come home from work and went, hey, what's for dinner? Oh, chicken.
And he would say, oh, chicken.
I got to tell you, now I don't work anymore, but now I say, hey, when are we going to have your next chicken? But I will have to say one thing. We've been married, 51 years, 300 days in a year, 15,000 days.
365.
Yeah, whatever. So 15, 16, 17,000 dinners. All right, we went out to eat a couple times. Only once did she make a lousy meal. Only once. That was in California. One of the original Chili's.
No, that wasn't even in California. That was when we first got married in the apartment.
Oh, was it?
Yes, because I did not break up the ground beef. I remember that very clearly. It was awful.
Yeah.
I think I've come a long way.
Oh.
That was 51 years ago.
Yeah. And you know what? She didn't even start to talk about pastries.
Yeah, because we're not making a whole lot these
days. Or appetizers like your tea tassies and some of the other stuff.
We're not making
So anyway, continue. I didn't mean to take over.
That's pretty much in the world of food. So I encourage everyone to, cooking, it doesn't have to be stressful if you get all your ingredients together. And you can start simple. And you can experiment with the spices and experiment with the things.
I'm going to add one more thing. Because you even taught me this.
What?
Okay, and you took it from a cooking show. So the folks we're talking to, they don't do a lot of cooking,
right.
But they do go to the local restaurants and they do go to the food where it's made for them. What is the proper? You taught me this at Gordon Ramsay. How do you put the food on your fork?
Oh, Gordon Ramsay's technique is to say you're having fish with a vegetable and everything. His secret, in order to get a good taste profile, is to take a piece of everything that's on the plate, put your fork on it, so you're tasting everything at the same time, and it's really, really good.
So.
And he holds. It's a small bite. It's not a big. It's just a little piece of everything. He's holding it up. He's looking around, and he's putting it in his mouth. Good.
So what I used to do, and it's going to take me a long time to adjust, probably like you. So if I have chicken.
So say that you have a poached egg with fresh spinach and a tomato. Instead of eating this and this, you would put your egg, a little bit of egg, your spinach, and your tomato all in one bite.
Right.
Isn't that delightful?
Yes, but what I used to do, and I still do a lot of it, is I'll have the egg, then I'll have the tomato on a separate, and so I will alternate. So, and I'm going to disagree with Gordon Ramsay. I'd like to know what your opinion is. If there are several different things on the plate, shouldn't each one of those be enjoyed separately as compared?
And it's a matter. Look. No pun intended. It's a matter of taste.
Okay. Let's talk about a matter of taste for just one more moment, okay? Hot dogs. What do I mean by hot dogs?
What do you mean by hot dogs?
I'm going to ask them a question. Is it proper to have a hot dog with ketchup?
For some people it is.
How about scrambled eggs with ketchup?
Not for me. For him, yes, but not for me.
Do you like scrambled eggs with ketchup? You see, here's the deal. If I was to follow the Gordon Ramsay methodology of eating, then I would have the ketchup, which I do, with my scrambled egg, and that way I get the savory taste of tomatoes and eggs all in one bite. All in one bite. What do you think about that?
Enjoy.
So, what do you want to conclude with, and what profound thoughts do you want to leave everybody with?
Cooking is a wonderful thing to experience, and cooking with people together is even better. And cooking when you sit down with people and eat, and you have conversation, and you savor the food. It's a great thing. If you go out to a restaurant, and you order something that maybe you wouldn't normally get, but also if you're going out to your favorite restaurant, you're going to order something you enjoy eating. So whatever food experiences you have, whether it's cooking or going out to eat, enjoy it. It's a part of life. We all love food. The famous expression, do we eat to live, or do we live to eat?
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I can prove that we live to eat. How can I prove it? You ready for this?
We're eating all the time.
No. Watch this. I want you to think about this. When you go on a cruise, when you go to a hotel, when you go to a bar mitzvah or a wedding, what is usually the number one question that somebody asks you when you return?
What did you eat?
And?
What did they serve?
And?
I don't know.
How was
the food?
The food.
Yeah.
Right? Did they ask about anything else?
No. How was the food?
No, how was the food? Hey, you went on the cruise? Great. Where'd you go? Who cares? Let me. How was the food? All right. Hey, did they have good restaurants? How was the crowd? Did it taste good? Are you going to go back there again? What do you think? You go to a wedding. How was the food? Hey, what a smorgasbord they had. You ought to see what was that? The dessert tray. The years back in weddings, we had that. The
dessert tray.
No. At the end.
I know.
Yeah.
The rolling table.
Yeah.
Dessert table.
It was another name for it. The rolling dessert table. So food, we live to eat, and we live to talk about it. So let's live to eat, but let's make sure that we don't eat more than we need to, so that we can live. And with that being said, Carol, I got to tell you something.
What?
I loved being the second chair. So I think from now on, and I want to get your voice on this,
No.
I think she's going to do a lot more.
I hope you enjoyed it. Food is my passion. I have a lot of fun with it. I love to experiment. And I'm also known, I know many people when they have company would never attempt something new. They go back to their old things in their repertoire. And I love trying something new. I love reading recipes, and as I said, I'm pretty good, pretty accurate, 98% of what it's going to taste like, how it's going to look, and the other 2%, well, it's not too bad. Yeah.
You know what? The
What?
other 2% is still rated a 1 on the Michelin rating star.
I'm only getting 1?
The other 2%.
Oh, the other 2%.
See, 98% is higher.
Sounds good.
Folks,
All right.
I really hope you enjoyed Carol today. I hope you enjoyed me as the straight man. And listen, we enjoy always, no matter who is doing it, being with you and sharing and feeding you some additional information that we hope that forever will add flavor to your life. I'm Andy Greenberg.
And I'm Carol, saying eat well.
We'll see you later. Bye.